Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Believe with Susie. This is the place where we focus on growth, resilience, and empowerment. I'm your host, Susie, and today we're going to be diving into the topic of stress management. The title of today's episode is called Conquering Stress, Your Calm, which is going to be the compass in your life's storms. So, I'm your host, Susie, and all about stress management, my friends. So, life is like sailing through a series of storms, and stress is like the unpredictable waves. And so, with that being said, I want you to remember that we're all in this together. We all deal with stress on a daily level, and it could pop up in unexpected ways. You could try your best to try to avoid it, do the things that you know you need to do, but it can rear its ugly head. And so, with conquering stress, I have an incredible acronym we're going to be diving into, and it's CALM, C.A.L.M. That's going to stand for centering yourself, acknowledging and accepting the feelings, lightening your load, and mustering support. So, let's get ready to explore some practical tips and a bonus on physical exercise so that you can navigate through your stress with a little more ease and a little more confidence. So let's get ready to sail on this journey and turn those stormy seas into smooth sailing. All right, let's get diving into understanding what is stress. I want you to think of stress like a storm brewing inside of you. It's natural. It's like the wind that pushes our sailboat. But when it gets too strong, we need to take action. And spotlighting and understanding the triggers and the signals of stress is like seeing dark clouds on the horizon. You know it's coming. It's a signal that something's about to happen. And so you need to get ready to take care of yourself and before the rain starts pouring right on top of you. And so remember, progress over perfection. Every single day, progress over perfection, because it keeps us from quitting on ourselves. It keeps us from giving up, and it keeps us from burning out. And if you've ever experienced burnout, we wish that upon no one. I have felt that in the past, but it's just a constant churn and grind to where there's nothing left but ashes. And so we need to understand that we can take it one day at a time, make decisions one step at a time. And a lot of times when I'm talking to clients of mine and we're goal setting 30, 60, 90 days out, it's like we see the top of the staircase and we want to get there yesterday, but we can't. Again, it's about step by step, day by day. So I'm going to introduce the CALM acronym, and it's going to help us more understand to sail smoothly through stress. And the reason I love acronyms is because it makes it stickier. It makes it easier to remember. So when it hits you, you're not having to take more emotional energy, more brain battery to try to remember these things. So number one, C stands for calm. Set for calm is center yourself. That just means finding your inner peace. A, acknowledge the feelings. I didn't say you have to accept them. I just want you to understand what the triggers feel like in your body when an emotion happens. Fear, stress, overwhelm, anxiety. There's certain triggers that your body does that if you can start tuning into those, it would be kind of like seeing the storm ahead. Example, lump in your throat, teary eyes, like someone gut punched you. L, lightening the load. This is where I want you to try to make things just a little bit easier for yourself. And then M, mustering support, getting help from family, friends, your support group, your network. So let's dive into each of these and find out how they can help us ride the waves of stress with a little more ease. C stands for center yourself. That is going to be your inner peace. When stress hits you like a wave, the first thing that we should do is center ourselves, aka be where your feet are. The brain's going to try to take you on a roller coaster of anxiety, stress, thinking about the past, all the things you did wrong, the future, all the things you haven't done, but could go wrong. And whenever you're focusing on the past that no longer exists, whenever you're focusing on the future that has yet to exist. So if you could just kind of pull yourself in, be where your feet are, sit down, focus on these key tactics. And here are some tips I'm going to give you 3 tips that you can write down, you can share them, do what you need to. Number 1, deep breathing. I want you to take a few deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling even slower. This can really help calm your mind and body. It kind of redirects where your brain is taking you. It's so subtle, so simple, yet so powerful. Number 2, this may take a little bit longer, but meditation. Meditation just means spending a few minutes focusing on your breath and calming your center. So if you want to get ahead of the game, maybe find a playlist on whatever you'd like to listen to, something that you can play quickly that can cool you down. There's lots of ways you can search it on Spotify, Apple, whatever you listen to. De-stressing techniques, or even I know on the Apple Watch, there's a deep breathing. You can set it for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever you need to do. And lastly, which I know may be really hard to find in today's busy, noisy world, but it's called quiet time. Finding a peaceful spot to sit for just a few minutes away from the noise and away from the hustle. That one may take a little extra strategy, but finding your inner peace is all about creating a space where you can breathe and feel grounded. It's your anchor in the storm. Next up, the A in calm is acknowledging the feelings. So in the eye of the storm, it's important to acknowledge the feelings, and here's how. Here's going to be 3 tips that you can put in your toolbox. Number 1, journaling. Because when you write your thoughts down and your feelings in a journal, what you do is you take it from what's inside your head, which is invisible. You then write it down to where you can see it. It becomes visible. And this can help you understand and just recognize what is happening. Talk it out. Number 2, share your feelings with a trusted friend or a family member. Sometimes just talking it out can be and make a big difference. Now, a little tidbit, friends, a lot of people who are so used to fixing things. I used to be one of those people where someone would come to me, they'd want to talk to me, and I would already be 10 steps ahead trying to solve the problem for them. That's not cool. Like, I realize, like, I don't do that anymore. Whenever you need a friend to listen and silent have the same 7 letters. So now when a friend needs support, they want me to listen, I make sure that I can give my 100% attention, time, and effort to that friend, because that is what we need. A lot of friends helped me out whenever my mom passed away, so I understand it really became pivotal to me at that point when talking to a friend can really just help me. And then 3rd, self-compassion. Remind yourself that it's okay to feel this way and be kind to yourself, because just like you would with a friend, don't be negative. Like the things that we say that go between the 2 ears, our mind, that is our root system, that is our identity system. And just awareness of that is the first key. And embracing your emotions, like understanding the sea, the waters that you're sailing on, it can help you navigate through them with wisdom and compassion. The L is going to be lightening your load. This is how we can make things a little less hard, aka a little bit easier. Remember, easy choices, you have to do hard things to have an easy life. And this is kind of where I want you to take that mantra. This is how these are just 3 tips again. Number 1, prioritize. You make a list of what needs to get done and tackle the most important things. Let go of the least important ones. I struggle with this all the time. Like, I'm a list maker. I want to get that hit a dopamine right whenever I do something. But if you can look at the list of like the long list, at the end of the night, decipher which one of these 1, 2, or 3 needs to get done first to move the needle in the situation. Number 2, break it down. So if you have a big task, I want you to think of like a mind map. Break it down into smaller, more manageable steps. And then number 3, take breaks. We talked about this the other day using the Pomodoro technique, working for 25 minutes undisrupted, taking a 5-minute brain break. Because giving yourself short breaks throughout your day, something like a quick walk or stretching, it can really do wonders. Lightening your load is all about making your journey easier, 1 step at a time. And remember, consistency wins every time over time. And there's like, legitimately, friends, there is no one size fits all solution to being your best self. Just pick a habit, and if it feels like it comes natural, like the energy's flowing and going, and you are like, dig into that, because that is crucial, because it's like the energy. The energy you put out into the world, you attract back. That was part of my development from 2 days ago. And so how can you feel joyful, blissful? Like look for those, the opposite of whatever the feeling is, Google it, find out what it feels like, because you want it to be something that you can stick with. Then from there, you can stack habits. And then like a chain, we build from there. And then lastly, the M is muster support, getting help from family and friends. In tough times, your support crew is like your lifeline. And here's how a few tips that you can muster support. I'm going to give you two. Number one, reach out. Like, don't be afraid to ask a friend, like a trusted friend, for support, like just to be a listening ear. Number three, you could join a group. Consider joining a community where you can share experiences and advice. There's a lot of Facebook groups that really you can ask questions anonymously, get tips from strangers so you don't feel judged. That way you can feel safe. And then when things get too overwhelming, friends, take whatever step you need to in the professional world, get help, but have a strong crew. And if you don't have that, just start where you can. Because again, people and community can really help you navigate your storm and find your steady state. And then the bonus, friends, I am always going to harp this. And if you're part of this, you know I'm a trainer. I've been doing this almost 11 years. Physical exercise is a fantastic way to combat stress. And here's why. Number one, it reduces your cortisol. Exercise helps lower your cortisol levels. And it's basically the body's stress hormone, and which can help you feel more relaxed, because whenever your emotions are high, logic is low. My friends, I'm just basically recapping my journey. I was a very high emotional person, very quick to flip the script, to hit the triggers and lash out and leash. And it did a lot of destruction, not only to myself, but to my body. So if you remember, I had a setback where in almost 2 years ago, I woke up, I was like, 8 to 10 pounds heavier than I am now, 30 inches more, but that cortisol was firing off because I wasn't managing my stress. Number two, boost your endorphins. It means it's your body's mood lifters that can really just help your stress and anxiety. What do you like to do for fun? Take those, maybe a 5-minute dance break. I like 5-minute dance breaks. Number two, like, this is going to sound really kind of funny, but sometimes I like to look at just funny memes. I like to laugh because laughter helps me relax. And I heard a quote one time that said, if you're too busy to have fun, well, dang, you're too busy. And that hit me, friends. I was like, oh. So again, constant day-by-day reminder. Then we have the mind, body, and soul connection, because exercise strengthens the connection between your mind, body. It helps you feel more balanced and more centered. And if you aren't understanding the word balance, maybe substitute that word for harmony, because again, not everything has equal level or equal weight. We have one day, 24 hours in a day. Adjust it like Tetris if you need to. So some practical tips: you could go for a walk, try a yoga class, do some stretching exercises. It doesn't have to be anything really big. Just start where you can and start small. Those will build up days over days of evidence. And even small amount of exercise can be a big difference in managing your stress. And just also understand that the food that we put into our body also has a correlation to how our body responds. Try to eat, whole foods if you can, 70-80% of the time. And if you need to go out and eat out, you do what you need to. But understand that, like for me, whenever I eat certain foods, my inflammation flares up. I have to be ready for that. AKA when I eat pizza. I do eat pizza, friends, and we do that. Like we have our favorite spot. But I know when I go into that, I'm going to have more inflamed joints because my body's fighting against the extra fillers that are in there. And lastly, don't be afraid to reach out and start searching supplements, because supplements help fill the gap to where our food lacks. Really important to understand that, again, as we age, we need support. Just like whenever someone has an injury, they need support. Supplements help fill the gap. So if you want to research any of that, I'd love to be a resource for you. I believe in the stuff that I take, collagen, protein powder, phytonutrients, multivitamins, all those things that we need to stay at our best. And as we navigate, we're going to close this sucker up. As we navigate through life storms, remember that managing stress is all about riding the waves with a positive attitude. By using the C.A.L.M strategy, centering yourself, acknowledging the emotions, lightening your load, and mustering support, you can incorporate, and also adding in the physical exercise, you can really face the waves with courage and grace. So take things one day at a time, celebrate your progress. I cannot state that enough. Like, if you did something today, if you took a 5-minute bath, you took 5 minutes for yourself, celebrate that. Your body's going to start releasing those feel good, like those, you're going to start feeling those dopamine hits where you're going to get a win in the win column, a W in the win column, baby. We need these. And also understand that you need to like we all need to keep building our resilience. We don't just get it and keep it. It's going to trigger us. It's going to snare up on us and flare up on us. So thank you for joining me today. Until next time, stay strong, stay positive, and keep believing in your amazing ability to conquer stress. If you found today's episode at all helpful, please subscribe to Believe with Susie on whatever podcast episode or platform you're listening to, and share it with someone who might need a little boost in conquering their stress. Your support means the world to me, and it's for people like us, right? People like you, me, spreading positivity and empowerment. And together we can navigate life storms with a little bit more confidence and a little bit more joy. I'll catch you on the next episode.